In the news this week, school students took to the streets this week demanding climate action, but what's the response from the government?
Concerns of union intimidation as tensions rise in the fight to save Fremantle Port.
Pauline Hanson appointed as Deputy Chair of a family law inquiry as Labor failed to stop it.
And NASA discovered water vapour at an exo-planet 110 light years away.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Leung and Danielle Staniskov.
Good evening. As youth around Australia continue to push for action against climate change, thousands of students turned up in Perth for another strike by marching on the streets. State Environment Minister Stephen Dawson acknowledged that climate change is real and said he is disappointed that the federal government lacked leadership on the matter. Ship's Way has more.
A show of force from boys and girls who are usually stuck in classrooms fighting climate change on foot. Thousands of students joined a global strike to get their voices heard. They've skipped classes this week to protest in the Perth CBD against climate change. They want the federal government to end all new coal, oil and gas projects and at the same time commit to 100% renewable energy by 2030 and to help fossil fuel workers transit to new jobs.
You can always make a difference. You know, we see that with the start of this movement. One person can make a difference, and Australia has a crucial role to play in fixing the climate crisis.
I said in Parliament even yesterday that this is going to continue to get bigger and bigger, and no matter what the politicians say, they're going to be dealing with everyday people taking to the streets because they want real action on climate change.
WA Environment Minister Stephen Dawson pledges to continue to mitigate the risk of climate change.
This government have been working very closely with all levels of industry to see what we can all do to lower the emissions coming from big projects.
Ship's Way, WAMN News.
Tensions are reaching boiling point in Perth's freight management fight, with maritime union protesters taking to the streets to save Fremantle Port. But concerns have risen following accusations of intimidation against the union, as Westport cancels community forums. Nelson Liu reports.
Taking the fight to the street, WA's Maritime Union branch making their voice heard to save Fremantle Port. They marched on a Westport Task Force forum on Wednesday morning before speaking to their supporters while calling on member for Fremantle Simone McGurk to back the port.
Our members need to hear what's being said at those Westport. They're part of the community as well.
The union states the port is still under capacity, has ensured fewer trucks on roads, and not building Kwinana Port stops environmental destruction. But Westport...
They don't want the facts. If it's allowed to let grow on its natural course, we'll be able to deal with this for 100 years to go.
They say wharfie jobs and productivity will be lost if there's automation.
That's not going to be very productive. It's not going to be efficient.
Westport claims intimidation at their event, cancelling one on Friday over safety, while Premier Mark McGowan told Parliament he received death threats.
Well, the video I saw of the conduct at a public meeting was clearly unacceptable, and some of the online posts by some of the individuals involved were clearly unacceptable. I thought they were intimidatory.
The union and its supporters reject the claims and say all attendees were safe.
We deny that there's anything of the sort.
They say they'll keep fighting. The Maritime Union says the future of the Fremantle Port is an election issue and they're calling on the state government to protect it. If they don't, they could be on their way out at the next election. Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
The legal limbo continues for the Tamil family who is stuck on Christmas Island as the issue drags on in court. A federal court judge declared the family had a case that needs to be decided shortly before the order preventing the family from deportation expired on Thursday. The argument now focuses on a 2-year-old daughter's right for a visa application due to the fact that she was born in Australia. Human rights activists are urging the federal government to let the family stay in Australia.
To tear them away from that community and send the kids and the family to a country that they have little connection to at this stage and also could face harm is not in the public interest.
One Nation WA has claimed politics has marred the appointment of Pauline Hanson as Deputy Chairwoman of a family law inquiry, despite believing it will bring positive change. Colin Tinknell states he was pleased that the government had supported her goal to investigate the system, but wasn't happy by the reaction by other parties. He says it's important to see what the inquiry reveals, but the reaction was disappointing.
The reason why she's the Deputy Chairwoman is because of her 20-year attempts to get this running. She knows this inside out. We just recently had a forum down in Mandurah, and we had 200 people turn up, and they told us day in and day out, both men and women, the nightmare of family law in Australia, and particularly in WA. And, you know, this is an important thing. This will have a very, very positive effect on society in Australia.
A new skywalk in Kalbarri is set to give tourists a never-before-seen look of nature in the region, the state government has revealed. The $24 million project is on the way to completion with the Kalbarri Skywalk and the National Park tourist infrastructure. Two cantilevered walkways projected 25 and 100 metres beyond the edge of the cliff and 100 metres high have been installed, giving visitors unobstructed views of the Murchison River Gorge and surrounding environment. The area will also be universally accessible, including an environmentally friendly kiosk that is powered with a low off-grid energy system.
We have made projections that we will see a large increase in dollars spent back in Kalbarri. We're trying to get an extra night out of people staying in town, and with the extra money they bring, they will provide more for accommodation, for food, for all those things.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison has met with United States President Donald Trump at the White House this weekend, following Mr. Morrison's recent surprise election victory. Both leaders sat down for a lavish feast at the White House Rose Garden. Mr. Morrison says the trip's aim is to strengthen the relationship between both countries for another 100 years. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has apologised for wearing a brown-faced makeup during a school gala dinner back in 2001. A spokesman from the Canadian Liberal Party has confirmed that Mr. Trudeau was in that photo as the gala dinner attendants dressed as Aladdin characters. Canada is at the middle of an election campaign with the Conservatives and the Liberal Party fighting to win government.
Astronomers have for the first time found water vapour signatures in the atmosphere of a planet, raising hopes of finding extraterrestrial life. Using data from NASA's Hubble Space Telescope, astronomers have found signs of water vapour in the atmosphere of K2-18b, an exoplanet about 110 light years from the constellation of Leo. However, don't get your hopes up too high, as the planet's close proximity to its red dwarf star means it's likely to be exposed to a much higher energy radiation. Its mass 8 times greater than the Earth's means the surface gravity on this planet would be significantly greater than our planet.
That's very far away.
With current space technology, that's right.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have all the latest news on our website and Facebook page.
Until next Sunday after 8, thanks for watching, thanks for calling in. Good evening.
Night.